So people talk about inflation, but not a lot of people understand it. And also, a lot of the solutions to inflation are after the fact, not controlling it, preventing it. Some even think that inflation cycles are inventable, or you have to go up and down just to control the marketplace, but it impacts real human beings and causes negative harm. So first, let me explain what actually is inflation. So what is inflation? It's when products become more expensive, um, the base products. It's driven usually mostly by actually wealth inequality. Because let's say everyone earns $10. Well, then everyone prices are going to set to everyone that affords $10. Let's say one person earns $10 and half the population earns $10 and half the population earns $300. Well, it's much more profitable to sell at a higher price for companies and stuff. So because you can get away with it because the $300 people can afford it. Now maybe the higher price means that $10 people cannot afford it. So how do we fix this? Well, I want to propose a couple of ways that are proactive and means that we don't have to keep passing legislation and stuff and wasting time passing legislation or working on that stuff, and we can move on to other things. First idea is that we have a tax increase on the rich and stuff as wealth inequality grows. The more inequality there is, the higher the taxes on the rich are, an upper percentage, and we can lower the taxes on the bottom percentage with the more inequality to make it as a fix, to make a dynamic fix for that. A second idea is to do the same thing with tax inflation, that as inflation goes up, we tax the rich more, we tax the poor less. Now, another idea is for the government to sell luxury goods, and that will mean that we take money more away from the rich so people that can afford getting money taken away from them. And that we use that then to fund government programs or to slow down the spread of money. It captures that money and put in reserves for when needed. A kind of another idea along this whole line is to have control over investments. So money is not locked in certain investment groups. Instead, it's more distributed throughout society to workers and manufacturers and stuff. And not lock in investments where one rich person invests in another rich person, and they both going back and forth with stocks and bonds and stuff. That makes this abstract financial market. And the more layers and stuff, like the more it's like away from like just, oh yeah, a manager owns a person. That's a horrible word. A manager gives money to a person, and person invests in the manager of the company, then it becomes the company. Then you have a person invests in the investor, an investor, an investor, all complex webs. The more it gets away, the more or less is reality. Like stock prices for Corona Bear fell in the coronavirus. Stock prices for stuff just go up and down with no basis in reality because they are so diverse from the actual investing group. But that means that wealth gets concentrated in certain areas, causing more wealth inequality, but also causing inflation. So this like controlling how much people can make money off investments or other things, or how complicated investments are to make them more simple so it's more investing in actual people, not in corporations or financial schemes. Another idea that might sound a little bit the reverse is to control trade speed, increase or decrease. I just also say decrease. But that is the idea that money, if I hold up on a ton of money quickly, if I hold on a lot of money and I can flood the market causing inflation, or I keep the money and gets out of circulation, which can also negatively affect how much money is in circulation, how much a person can earn. The faster money is circulating, the more people can earn in some ways. An example of this is, let's say there's only $10 in the whole world. If I pay someone $10, I lose all the money of the world. They pay me back $10, I earn $10, so I made $10. If they pay, then I pay them and they pay me back. So then I earn another $10. So I earn $20. I also spend $20, even though it's $20 in circulation. And let's say if I do that twice as fast, well, I kind of earn twice as much money in the same amount of time. Now, the problem is that rich people hold on to the money too much in certain ways, and then they don't give it out. Or some people hold on to money with investments too much, and they don't give it out, so it goes to the poor people. But on the other hand, there's a problem where rich people build up too much money too fast and become more wealthy because they trade with themselves too much, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's like flash trading and stuff, but they're trading amongst themselves, not with the people. So controlling the trade, so controlling how much people can keep investments at one time and making sure they also can't do it too fast or too slow could help regulate the marketplace. It could also make the marketplace more logical because it's less based on algorithms and stuff, because human beings can more directly interfere, and it could also mean that people could do more research. It also means that people have more of a fair competition if they have less money to invest in stuff, because they can how can I say it? They can themselves, if everyone's trading at the same speed, they have less disadvantage than stockbrokers that can trade more stuff faster in our current system with special advantages. On the flip side, to kind of for making people afford more stuff, is benefits and wages should increase with inflation. So it's capitalists keep stop fighting for that all the time. Another thing is that benefits and wages should increase with inequality. We can also do more job training for people to find better paying jobs and new jobs when there's wealth inequality and stuff happens at a higher rate. And then the same with inequality, inflation. Now I put in A's and non-A's, these ones, to kind of show you the inverse in this list. So B's are the things that are kind of, the list of B's are kind of things that don't fall neatly in either category. These categories are kind of two separate anyways. One is to invent better safety nets. And safety nets prevent people from going into absolute or worse poverty. So that means there's less inequality, and that can help prevent inflation right there as more of a market participant. But also means that people are more likely to invest when there's safety nets and take risks that are overall good. Also, safety nets oftentimes means taxing the rich and stuff, which also lowers inequality that way. Another thing is to cause people to get paid less at the higher levels. But instead promote going up the corporate ladder or other ladders by giving people better job security or benefits or other things or freedoms or other things that are not necessarily directly tied to money. Maybe they get more managing responsibilities, and some people want that, some people don't. So that could maybe help fix it, because then you're not climbing for profit. Another idea is to keep people more employed by having more backup jobs in the economy and stuff like that. There are jobs that are useful but are not necessarily, but we can quickly employ people just to do them. And that could be anything from fixing up construction to beautifying places. And you can come up to network management. So you can come up with a million jobs that you can always have more people just do. But if they want to leave the job, it's okay. And maybe do not require the most training for these jobs. Now, something I'm going to add some D's now. Another one thing we could look into beyond this is also just better education of why inflation happens and stuff like that. I do not mean financial literacy for the actual individual person, because that's sort of a myth. People have disabilities and other health concerns and stuff like that, And the system is so complicated that you shouldn't have to even learn the system. And the system is complex, and the system is designed to fail people. Instead, I'm talking about education like what I'm talking about right here about why inflation happens in the first place, unfairness in the system, so people can promote better policies of the actual government institutions, not for themselves to take responsibilities for a system they have so little power in, which is a big running theme here. So, understanding. Another one is to put more pressure on people to actually donate more money and stuff that can donate money. That will be a huge, and also more pressure for this mutual aid in general. Thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. In terms of 1,000 subscribers near 4,000 watch hours, this is really hard, but you help I think to do it. Again, thank you much. Goodbye. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below.